Every fear you carry is a prayer you're sending in the wrong direction. You've been generating visions of what you don't want with the same creative force that could build everything you do want. The mental machinery is identical, and by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to redirect that engine, the one already running inside you, towards something worth building. Charles Haanel wrote the Master Key System over a century ago, and one line from it still cuts deep. He said fear is just faith inverted. The same mental muscle that holds a worry in place for weeks, that replays a catastrophic scenario on loop, that keeps you awake rehearsing conversations that haven't happened. That muscle is your creative faculty, working perfectly. Aimed at destruction? Think about how much effort it takes to maintain a fear. You wake up and the thought is there before your feet hit the floor. You carry it into the shower, into your commute, into conversations where you smile while the background process keeps running. That tight feeling behind your sternum stays for hours. Your body responds to the mental image as if it's already real. Muscles tighten, breathing gets shallow. Your whole system orients around something that exists only in your imagination. That takes energy, serious energy. And here's what makes Haanel's observation so sharp. He didn't say fear was the opposite of faith. He said it was the same force, the same concentration, the same sustained mental attention, the same emotional intensity. You've already proven you can hold a single idea in your mind with enough consistency to reshake your physiology. You just happen to pick an idea that's eating you alive. So the question changes. The question was never whether you have the power to sustain a vision long enough for it to take root. You've answered that already. Every night you've spent worrying is proof of your capacity. The question is whether you can take that same unwavering focus and point it somewhere else. This is where most people stall. They hear, just think positive, and their whole body resists, because positive thinking feels thin compared to the dense gravitational pull of a fear. A worry feels substantial. It feels like you're doing something responsible by running worst-case scenarios. There's a strange comfort in bracing for impact. You feel prepared. But preparation and creation are different activities. One maps threats that may never arrive. The other builds the thing you actually want to live inside. Haanel was precise about this distinction. He argued that mental energy flows toward whatever image you hold with feeling. The universe, or your subconscious, or the creative medium, whatever language fits your framework, responds to the sustained picture. It doesn't evaluate whether the picture is good for you. It builds what you feed it. A farmer who waters weeds with the same devotion he'd give crops will grow spectacular weeds. The soil doesn't judge, it produces. Your mind works the same way. Every hour spent visualizing failure is an hour of disciplined creation, pointed at exactly what you don't want. And the cruel part is that worry feels productive. It mimics the texture of problem solving. Your brain is active, engaged, running scenarios, but the scenarios all terminate in the same place: loss. You're rehearsing the funeral instead of building the life. Haanel's system asks you to do something that sounds simple, but requires genuine discipline. Take the emotional charge, that electricity you feel when a fear grips you, and consciously redirect it into a constructive image. Feel the new picture with the same intensity you felt the old one. Hold it just as long. Return to it just as often. Simple to describe, brutally difficult to execute. Because fear has momentum. It has grooves worn into your thinking from years of repetition. The worry track is smooth and fast, like a well-worn path through a forest. The new vision? That path is overgrown. You have to push through resistance with every step, and your mind keeps trying to snap back to the familiar route. This is the inner work that gets glossed over when people talk about manifestation. The discipline of mental redirection is a practice, a daily one, sometimes an hourly one. You catch yourself mid-spiral, you notice the physical sensations that accompany the fear, and you make a conscious choice to replace the image. You build the new scene in your mind, the job, the relationship, the health, the freedom, whatever your version of it looks like, and you sit in it. You breathe inside it. I've been running a tune's 432 Hz retune in the background during these sessions. Link in the description, and let your body respond to this image instead. The first few times, it feels fake. Your nervous system doesn't buy it. The worry feels true, and the vision feels like pretending. That gap between belief and practice is where most people quit. They try the new image for a day, maybe two, and then the fear rushes back with such force that they conclude this doesn't work. But Haanel anticipated that objection. He compared the process to physical training. Nobody expects to lift a heavy weight on their first day in a gym. The mental equivalent is the same. Your ability to hold a constructive vision strengthens through repetition, and the early reps are the hardest. The ones that feel pointless are the ones building the foundation. There's a specific mechanism at play here that goes deeper than motivation. When you sustain a fear, your entire perceptual system reorganizes around it. You start noticing evidence that confirms the worry. A friend's offhand comment becomes proof. A delayed email becomes a sign. Your mind filters reality to match the internal picture, and the external world seems to validate what you've been imagining. This feels like confirmation. It feels like being right. The same mechanism works in the other direction. Hold a constructive vision long enough, and your perceptual filters shift. Opportunities you would have missed become visible. Conversations you would have avoided feel natural. You move differently through the world because your internal picture changed, and the world rearranges around the new orientation. Haanel described this as the law of attraction, but you can strip away the metaphysical language and the mechanics still hold. What you focus on expands, partly because reality responds, and partly because your ability to perceive shifts. A skeptic might push back here. They might say some fears are legitimate. Some worries are grounded in real conditions. A medical diagnosis, a financial deadline, a relationship in genuine crisis. Haanel wouldn't deny that. The system acknowledges that external conditions exist. The argument is about what you do with your mental energy in response. You can take the diagnosis and spend 6 months generating images of decline. Or you can take the same diagnosis and spend 6 months generating images of healing, vitality, and the specific life you intend to live. On the other side, the condition is the same. The mental response is the variable, and the mental response is the one thing entirely within your control. This is where the practice gets honest. Nobody sustains a perfect constructive vision around the clock. You slip, the old images return, especially in the early morning when your defenses are low, or late at night when fatigue dissolves your discipline. The practice accommodates that. You notice the slip, you gently redirect, and you return to the vision. Again and again. The gentleness matters. Self-punishment for slipping just adds another layer of destructive energy. It's another inverted prayer. Haanel structured the Master Key system as a progressive course. 24 weeks of exercises designed to strengthen exactly this capacity. Each week builds on the last. The early exercises seem almost absurdly simple. Sit still for 15 minutes and control your body. Then sit still and control your thoughts. Then direct your thoughts toward a specific object. Then hold that object in your mind and examine it from every angle. The progression is deliberate. You're training the same faculty that fear hijacked, except now you're the one choosing where it goes. By the later weeks, the student is holding complex constructive visions with sustained emotional engagement. The visualization becomes vivid enough to produce physical sensation. The body can't distinguish between the rehearsed image and lived experience, which is exactly the mechanism that made your fears feel so real. The same biology that made worry feel like truth now makes the constructive vision feel like truth. Your body begins to live as though the new picture is already your reality. And that's when things start to shift externally. Circumstances rearrange. People show up. Paths open that were invisible a month ago. You can call this manifestation, or you can call it reticular activation, or you can call it whatever framework serves you. The name matters less than the experience. The energy was always there. Every sleepless night, every anxious spiral, every moment of dread. That was your creative power in action. Functioning flawlessly, aimed at the wrong blueprint. You already know how to sustain a vision with emotional intensity for weeks, months, years. You've been doing it every time you worried. The capacity was never in question. The direction was, tonight when the old image arrives, and it will, catch it. Feel the electricity in it. That charge is yours. Recognize it for what it is. The raw material of creation, wearing a mask you've been mistaking for prophecy. Then, with that same energy still humming in your chest, build something worth looking at. The current was always flowing. You're just turning the wheel.